seminal film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. And I've been talking more and more about Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement as of late because they've passed the total carbon tax takeover of all society. Is to be selectively enforced, home inspectors, federal zoning. They say they can throw you out of your house, no judge, no jury, total control. It's meant to create a post-industrial world. And Dr. Michael Coffman, in my film Endgame and in the extra that's on prisonplanet.tv, Endgame 1.5, lays out their own documents where they want a planetary, tyrannical government to carry out forced sterilization, the end of the family, children being raised in government hives. Now, this was covered in detail, really all in one place, an 1,100-page book titled Eco-Science, written by Obama's science czar, who lied before Congress because some of his anti-population stuff had come out and said, no, I don't believe the government has a role controlling population. This is a guy who believes in a one-world government to carry this out. Al Gore last week in England said on television he wants a world government to carry out this program. And I have stacks of mainstream news. I'm going to show some of it in this hour where they say in the U.S., in Europe, in Canada, in Australia, babies are bad, one-child policy, taxes on the carbon of humans. They picked carbon because that's what humans exhale, 2.5 pounds a day. Now, our guest, Dr. Michael Coffman, we're about to go to break, but I want to bring him up, has a bachelor's in forestry and an MS in biology at Northern Arizona University and a PhD in forest science at the University of Idaho. And he is an ecologist who is involved in ecosystem research for over 20 years in both academia and industry. And he's taught and worked across a wide spectrum, including the U.S. Forest Service, in developing an ecological land classification system for each of the national forests in Region 9 being used today. And he was instrumental in beating one of the big treaties in the 90s that would have given total control and these wilderness corridors, shutting down human activity. It's all about making us dependent, shutting off resources in a neo-feudal or neo-serf system so that we can't afford to even get married or have kids. And this is all stated, but it's stated in the United Nations Biological Diversity Assessment 96, and a part of it stated in the State Department Memorandum 200, and the CIA addendum to that, written by Kissinger, and it's restated in environmental policy reports, in Club of Rome reports, or in articles written by His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, or in statements and funding by Bill Gates or Ted Turner or Warren Buffett and eugenics. But this new report by Holdren, it's all in one place. And that's why this is so important. So when we come back, we're going to be talking to Dr. Michael Coffman today about all the big developments with the greenhouse gas, what it will do, how it will control our lives, how the new Bank of the World will regulate global carbon taxes, and we will pay our money into this private group. And their own statements dealing with how this will be a managed economy and how we will pay our taxes to the new Bank of the World. This has gone from Dr. Michael Coffman and myself with the documents being called kooks a decade ago, and Dr. Coffman almost sheepishly saying, I know this sounds kooky, but here's the document, to now hundreds of articles a week by the mainstream media admitting all this, but saying it's a good thing and we should accept it. So we're going to go through the mindset, the philosophy of these people, and what the global carbon tax means.